big spot there. Okay. One down. Two down. Three down. And I will tell you, so I did buy this on Amazon, but it was through the Sysrack store, and it was delivered almost a full week early. And on top of that, I am impressed with the packing they did. This is not the most expensive rack. This is actually what I would consider like a discount option for what you're getting. And it had a lot of really good reviews that it's, for what you're getting, it's worth every penny, and it's a really good value. Did a lot of time doing a lot of research on it before I picked which one I wanted to go with. Sorry, I just hit the stand, so you're all doing a little shaking here. But, I mean, there were some higher end. I've had Middle Atlantic racks that have come without some of the safeguards that they had in this shipping. So now, I don't know what the inside's going to look like. It might look really good on the outside. And there might be some suboptimal packing on the inside, but we'll see. Okay, so we've got a couple of our standard post rails here. I'm going to set that off to the side. Outer frames, and they do have some nice little rubber closed bumpers on it, which is nice. Can hopefully make it a little bit quieter and remove some of that, especially when you get the equipment running a little bit hotter and the fans start kicking on. Having those little rubber bushings or bumpers on there can be really helpful to cut down metal rattle as well. And when I'm talking about the little bushings, you should be able to see it right here is one of them. It's just a little rubber nub that goes through the metal frame here, little rubber nub, and those can make a huge difference on how quiet or loud a rack is. important in there. There is not. I'll set these aside. And then what I'm expecting is, and this is something I remember with like Middle Atlantic, was the way the boxes were all set up. One of the things I always liked was that it was multiple boxes, but when you finished it all up, they all nested inside of each other, so you didn't have to take out all these little itty-bitty boxes back out to the truck, or, you know, in case when you're doing a campus upgrade, you know, out to have to carry them across campus and do like 5 trips. So next box. Now this is probably going to be side panels and front and back doors. Now there are 2 different options you can get when you're getting the 27U, 22U, 18U racks from Systracks. You've got the option for a glass front rack or a mesh front. They had the mesh front on a really good deal for Cyber Monday. Actually, no, Black Friday, I think it was. Get it all messed up. And I like the mesh anyway. Although the glass can look nice, the mesh is going to breathe better. You're going to have much more airflow, so you don't have to be as crazy careful with design of equipment layout. To tell you, I think this knife might be due for running through the sharpener or the grind wheel. Now, it's not a complaint against the knife in any way, shape, or form. I have had this knife now for probably 15 years. I've only had to sharpen it once, and I use this thing like crazy. This is a Klein Tools knife. One of the best pocket knives I've ever had. It's really a good all-around multi-purpose knife. I will also tell you, you can never go wrong with Klein Tools, just in general. This is also about 8 layers of tape. side panels. These are not as heavy of metal as of sheet metal as like a Middle Atlantic rack, but for a 27U Middle Atlantic rack versus a Cis racks, I'm not dropping $3,500 or $4,000, $4,000, and it's not that dramatic. And once you get it assembled, you're not going to be having it in a very getting beat up kind of environment. It's not a massive server room. It's literally just going to be the only thing. Here's the front door. So you can see that venting. Nice Sysrax logo there on the top. I am not seeing a single blemish so far on any of this. We have back door. Let's see, we got a quick disconnects and a lock post. And actually, that's not a back, that is a side post. Another side post for the other side. Or side plate. Let's see if this works the way that they did back in the day. Try not to go too crazy with the tape because it is fairly soundproof down here in the basement. It is not completely soundproof, and I don't want to have kids getting all angry because I'm keeping them, I'm waking them up. And they will be. They'll get crazy. Because as I was taking it apart, a little nut was rolling around in there, and I don't know if that's going to be a part I need later, so I'm glad I found it. Ah, they still do it. Beautiful. Slides right in there. And yes, this cardboard sounds like wood snapping. It's actually pretty strong. I'm not gonna go crazy nuts with repacking because I'm not carrying this across a campus. So last box I'll just do itself and compress all this bubble wrap and everything into here, which then I'll separate before recycling. Starting to feel a lot less cluttered in here already. We're getting all that cardboard out of the collapse. Okay, put that over here. I swear I feel like this is like opening up like some sort of an alien cocoon. Alright, so now we have the top plate. Maybe. This could be the bottom plate. It's got cable brush entrance cable brushes, keep that dust out and keep other stuff from getting in and out of there, bugs, etc. But it'll allow those cables to go through. And a nice system fan in here, server rack fan, which will plug in and run it. And then it's got nice laser cut sys racks, laser cut identification on it, which I like. Nice actual plastic. I'm gonna reuse that for sure. All the hardware comes in there. power distribution unit for the cabinet, which we'll open that in a minute. But it's another nice feature of the combo kit that I got in the sale that was on, was it comes with the power, which is always a benefit. You don't have to go buy a Furman or something else. I mean, you still can if you want to put a power conditioner or whatever. My UPS is also a power conditioner, sine wave power conditioner UPS. But I mean, if you're putting really expensive gear or really sensitive gear in there, definitely invest in a good power conditioner if you haven't. Okay, this is the instructions just for how the locking door handle works, plus it has casters, more screws, hardware screws, everything else that you're going to need for the build. So that's one of your equipment boxes. I believe that's a couple shelves. Got bottom rack. The bottom rack also has that nice cable brush guard for the entrance and exit, and it's also pre-drilled and threaded for the casters and the stabilization jacks. Okay. There might be 30 pounds of tape on this overall in the package. That's pretty ridiculous. But it works. I did not see any evidence of any shipping damage. And that's increasingly rare nowadays, to be completely honest. Pretty sure unpacking always takes longer than the build itself. I would not say that that's a norm for people. I would just say that unpacking takes longer for me than the rest of the build. That is not to say it's because I'm a fast rack builder. It's because when I open stuff up, I inspect everything. I go over it, kind of fine-tooth comb-y, and on top of that, I also like to keep myself organized with keeping myself clean during the process of getting everything out, instead of just putting a disaster everywhere and then spending half an hour cleaning up after. yeah, now that I've got that going, everything is out. And all of the cardboard so far is already packed up and ready for loadout. Okay, let's check the last few things here. I'm going to adjust the camera up just a touch. Oh, wrong way. Boop. There we go. And there's a door bushing. It's also important too that I clean up during too, because once you start building, it's really easy for stuff to get kicked around. I've found, I used to be one of those installers that I just ripped stuff open, left it out, it was a mess everywhere. And then I was working with a guy named Manny, who was a fantastic installer. And he cleaned up after himself, he and Albert. And I'll tell you, when I started following their lead, I had significantly less occurrences of the company not sending me certain pieces. AKA, it wasn't the company that they didn't pack it. It was me being so messy on opening that I was missing pieces and not realizing it and throwing them away, or they're getting lost in the mess. Don't always jump and blame the shipping company, the supplier, when the issue could be you, and probably is. Hey, guess what? More tape. More tape. So much tape. But I like that. I mean, that's... I don't know if I've ever gotten anything that packed their hardware quite so nicely. Usually it's on one of those, like, shrink wrap boards where you have to peel it back, and once you've opened it now, you've opened Pandora's box, and you're going to lose things because it's going to fall out. So I like that. That's a nice attention to detail. Pizza box fold out, so just collapse that, make it easier to get to recycling later. And here's our nice surge protector power distribution unit. And it's pretty nice. 15 amp max. It'll do.